Oh my god, you can like barely see me. You can still barely see me, but whatever. This is a glass blunt. We are not Whitney Houston up in here. Nobody's smoking crack. Everyone calm down. Your eyes do not deceive you. I am dressed like this. I am not selling Mormon Bibles or anything like that. I'm okay. No, this is just for work. Bitch has to look professional all of a sudden. I'm not a fan of that either. I'm also not a fan of how dark it is. Jesus, like, can you guys see me at all? Actually, that's okay that you don't, because my pores are, like, really fucking huge right now. So, we went to Yuma yesterday, and we went to Ninja Sushi, which used to be my job, and I actually, like, loved that job. I just didn't realize at the time how much I loved that job, because, you know, a bitch, like to do drugs. It was like, work, what? Um, There's some good weed. I got 3 eighths for like $19.82 each. Like, that's fucking unheard of. I was like, who am I? Fucking Jesus? Like, what are these prices? Hold on. Okay, there, now you can see me. But anyways, I was at Ninja Sushi and I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh, you know, like, what if I did move back to Yuma and like what if I did go back to work at Ninja Sushi? And then like I just started replaying like all the moments at Ninja in my head. I'm like, oh dear God, like I can remember when I started there, like they would speak to me in Korean, and mind you, it's a Korean restaurant serving Japanese style food, but like I don't know, like it was just confusing. I was like, this is so like what do they call it? Cultural appropriation. Like no, really though, like that's what they bitch about. And I'm like, that's what that was. But anyways, we would be there and they'd speak to me in Korean, and I would have no idea what the fuck they were saying. I was just like, and so I would just look at the owner's wife and I would smile and I would just wipe down the nearest thing. Like that was the thing to do. They thought I was like the most cleanliness person on earth. I was like, no, I'm really confused. And like, customers would be all mad. They'd be like, well, I want to speak to the owner. And I'm like, well, good luck. Like, I've been here a year and a half and I want to speak to the owner too, but I don't speak fortune cookies. So I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Like, because they spoke English fine when they had something to tell me. But when, like, you know, I was like, oh, I need a day off, they're like, oh, no, I understand. Like, the fuck you don't. But they were really funny people. Like, when I was working there, they would not turn on the AC. I'm not even kidding. They would not turn the AC on for shit. And you know, like a bitch be drinking and a bitch be drinking a lot. Like I'd be sweating in the morning and I was like, I can't do this. And the only time they would turn on the AC is when a customer complained about it. Now, mind you, this is a fucking sushi bar. We're serving raw fish. You would think that shit would be like chill as a motherfucker, you know, especially being out in the middle of the fucking desert. Like, that's real sustainable. But no, they wouldn't. And so when a customer would finally say something, they would turn it on. And so we had just basically gotten it to the point where all the regulars like knew if they were the first customer in the door, they would just look around. They'd be like, it's hot in here. Can you turn on the air?" And they were things like that. But like I told the owners, I was like, look, I'm Mr. Beck, you know, Jenny, like I have nothing against you guys. My family immigrated here too from Ireland. You know, we came for a better life, and AC was part of that package. So you need to turn that up. Like when we sailed through the statue, past the Statue of Liberty, it was like sign your name, American citizen, AC, like AC included. But you need to turn that on. I can't deal with this. Like it was so bad. And they would like really really misinterpret like the things I would say because it was convenient for them. Like I can remember one time the owner's wife, like she was asking me to stay and I was already working 6 days a week, and I told people I don't work Sunday, it's the Lord's day, I can't do that shit, like I just cannot do that. And you know, I could get my Jesus on for all the shit I'm gonna do later next week. Fucked up shit, but I don't work Sundays. Just to know any future jobs, I don't do that shit. Um, but yeah, it was like Sunday, and she was like, Ash, you think you work a tomorrow? You work a Sunday? You work a 12/6, 12 close? And I was like, no, Jenny, I can't. It's my only day off. I work 6 days a week. It's the Lord's day. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she turned to the sushi chef. She didn't even walk away. She just turned to the sushi chefs and she goes, he know work tomorrow. He make too much money. He a rich man. None of those words came out of my mouth. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, they would kill me. Like, the shit that they would like say and they would let us get away with. I was like, okay, like if you ordered something and you don't like it, that's too bad. Like, you know, at Applebee's, they'd be like, oh, we'll take it off the bill. We're so sorry. Like, you know, whatever. They're like, no, you ordered it. Like, we didn't make it wrong. You just don't like it. That's on you. You paying for it. And one time this lady ordered some udon noodles and she was like, yeah, I don't want these. I was like, okay. And so I took them back to the kitchen and I set them down and the owner's wife, Jenny, she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, they said they don't like them. And then she was like, well, take it back. And I was like, well, what do you want me to say to them? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, okay. So I walked back to the table and I set the udon noodles down and I was like, I don't know. And she's like, but I don't want them. And I was like, I don't know. I just walked off. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but I would do that. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, this is ridiculous. They were like, they would talk shit all the time, but then they like would not talk shit in front of you. So they would just say it like to other people, so it got back to you. And like the king of all the gossip was the cook, the one cook in the kitchen. His name was like Kane, and every time I would go up to Kane, he'd be like, "Oh well, Miss Jenny, she says she know like the way the new dishwasher work. She won't find someone else, but I don't know nothing." Like, he'd say that all the time, but he knew everything. Um, at one point, one of the sushi chefs ended up becoming our roommate, and this is totally racist of me. Like, this is just, you know, me talking shit, but I said it. I was like, me and my friends would be there drinking. I'm like, shut up, you guys. We got a Chinaman sleeping in the other room. Like, but he was so cool because he would just go golfing all day long. And then he would, like, come home and he'd see us drinking and he would drink with us and he would go to bed. He was, like, the ideal roommate. He practically didn't exist. But, like, my roommate, she was taking art classes and she had clay out on the table. And by the end of the night, we were drinking stuff and I kept just, like, molding the clay into, like, dicks with like balls and shit, and we put them all over the house, and like we had them on all the seats of the table. So anytime you pulled a chair out and you sat down, there was just a clay dick staring at you. And like we heard him get up, and like little kids, like we're grown ass adults, but like little kids be like hid behind the wall in the living room, and like you could hear him come out of his bedroom. He's like, "It's a dick," and they kept. He's like, "It's a dick," and then he got to the bathroom. He's like, "Dick are everywhere." He was the coolest roommate. He laughed so hard. He was like, I wake up this morning, that dick. I'm like, just dicks. It was awesome. Um, like this clay, I would fuck around with this clay so much. I would make really like horrible scenes like from human history out of this clay. Like I had made like a clay scene of like, you know, Nazi Holocaust, and then I had made a clay scene of like a Civil War era lynching. I had made a clay scene of like you know, like settlers, like, you know, like attacking Native Americans, like, and the point was because these are things that have like really occurred in human history. Like these are things that like as humanity we should atone for, and it was more just sitting there, like the conversations we were having, the political debates. These were the thoughts like on my mind, and so I would make these scenes every night before bed, and my roommate would wake up in the morning and she'd be like, "Ash, what the fuck?" And like every time, like she was just like, I mean, I made a clay scene of 9/11, like, you know, like with a clay plane on like a paper clip, like just, you know, like stuck in, like it was operational, I guess. Like, but the point was these are like huge moments in, you know, like man's history, and I was just, I thought it was like relevant and something like people should like discuss and think about. And she was like, you know, like every morning I would wake up and I'd be like, God damn it, Ash. But then I'd be like, he's really good though. The detail in these scenes is incredible. Like, and I did that not to be humorous, but like I did that just seriously because I thought they should be talked about. I still think they should be talked about. But anyways, back to working at Ninja. Like that place was so fucking crazy. Like they would talk and it sounded like they was about to go blows. Like there was like potazos full, like you hear "Rah, rah, rah," and then all of a sudden they start laughing. I was like, that was a fucking joke? That was a joke? Oh my god. Like I thought she was speaking Klingon or something. But the owner, like Mr. Beck, like he liked things his way, and he actually kicked one of my friends out. Like, he straight kicked her out of the restaurant because she came in right before my job ended and she was gonna give me a ride home. And she was talking to me about her day and like some people we knew, and he was trying to roll sushi, and he kept being like making mistakes. And finally, like I went to go get a drink for a customer, and when I came back, she's like, "Mr. Beck's kicking me out." I was like, "What do you mean he's kicking you out?" She's like, "He's putting me out. He's telling me I need to go outside." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Well, I'll be outside waiting." And I was like, "Mr. Beck, you put my friend out?" And he goes, "Yes." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, you're Taki. I make a sushi. I hear you. I try to follow conversation. I get confused. It's too much. I can't hear you right now." And I was like, "So you put my friend out of your restaurant because he was trying to air hustle us? That's what you just said." He was ruthless, though. He was ruthless. And they expect you to work. Like they would work you. Like to them, like the way their culture is, like our work ethics are completely different. Theirs is like, you contribute to the success of the business. The business's success brings you more prosperity. So they expect everyone to work really, really hard. And I'm telling them like, "Hey, y'all need to chill out right here. Like, we're not in sweatshops no more. This is not North Korea. Like, we are not building Nikes. Like, y'all need to chill for a moment." They'd be working our asses off, but the money was good. The money was so good. I was like, "Oh, hello, what's your name, Piggy Bank?" Like, I love that job. I love that job so much. But like the owner's wife, like she was so bullshit. She would like I saw her one day wearing like Coach slippers, like fucking straight up Coach slippers, like embroidered, all like gold and fancy and shit. And she was washing dishes. And I came around the corner and was like, "Oh no, Jenny, you need to stop washing dishes. Let me wash the dishes." She's like, "Oh no, it's fine. I have another pair at home." And I'm like, ugh. And then she'd be driving around a brand new Lexus, like 67, $70,000 Lexus, right? And they have two restaurants. They have the was it Ninja Sushi, but then they also have the Rice King on base. Only Jenny can't go to the Rice King on base. Only Mr. Beck has access to the Rice King on base. And I was like, "That's because Jenny, North Korea, she after them launch codes, and they ain't gonna let that bitch on base." That's my theory on that. But anyways, like, and their names are bullshit. Okay, there's Mr. Beck, Jenny, Kane, Don, Andy. Fuck that shit. Like, they all drew names from a fucking hat. Like, ain't nobody born in fucking Korea named Andy. Like, this shit's just not happening. I'm sorry. I call bullshit on the whole matter. I think they drew names out of a fucking hat. I think Jenny could have been Mr. Beck had she drawn the right piece of paper. Like, I'm not even playing. I'm for real on that. That's how I feel about that. I'm so serious. Like, I'm for real. But anyways, they would make like $10,000 a month after cash out. Like that's after paying all their expenses. They had $10,000 a month. Jenny drive around this brand new Lexus that she didn't even let her husband drive. I asked her, I was like, "Jenny, do you let Mr. Beck drive your Lexus?" And she's like, no, no, Mr. Beck, he drive van, I drive Lexus. And she didn't give no fuck. She was like that character from like Family Guy or whatever, where she's like, "Good luck, everybody is." And then she just turns into traffic. That was Jenny. She didn't give no fuck. She knew she had a Lexus with a good engine. She was going to use it. But she would like see this Asian family, like, and they would come in all the time. And I'm assuming like well, they owned a nail salon. I'm not trying to be like stereotypical, but it's true. They own a nail salon. And one night they were talking to Jenny about, "Jenny, why we not see you? It's been so long." And Jenny was like, "Oh, it's cause I have no money." And I'm like, "Bitch, you drive around on Lexus and you fucking wash dishes and Coach slippers. The fuck you mean you don't have no money? I take a motherfucking cab to work, bitch. That's having no money. What the fuck is wrong?" I was so fucking mad. Like she was so lucky I didn't understand what she was saying in Asian. But real talk, like she was thug. I straight up saw her like we had this Vietnamese family come in, and I've never seen like everybody just fucking tighten up so quick. It was like everybody stared at this family like they killed the Kennedys or something. Like they was the Trump family because everybody hates them right now. But that's how everyone was staring at them, and I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "I'm gonna go take their order," and the owner's wife Jenny was like, "No, it's okay. I'll take an order for you." And I was like, "Okay." And the first time she took an order for me, it was a disaster because she told me, "Here's the phone. Take this to go order." And I was like, "Okay," but she handed it to me while I was at a table. I'm like in the middle of like, about to get a good tip, and then she like shoves the phone in my face. She's like, "You take a to go order, I take a table for you." And I was like, okay. So I walked up to the register and I was like, good evening. I'm doing my spiel or whatever. And Jenny comes up and she's got the table's order. And I'm like, great. And I go to put it into the computer. Now, this bitch barely speaks a lick of English. Why would I think that she's gonna fucking write that shit in English? That's my bad. My bad. I ate that one. She fucking hands me a napkin with like fucking Stargate language on it. Like there was like a mountain with a moon and like a fucking three-legged dog upside down. Like it was bullshit. If I would have put that combination in right, like a fucking wormhole was gonna open up. I swear to God. And so I'm staring at this computer and I'm staring at this paper and I'm like, I don't have a fucking degree in hieroglyphics. Like I don't fucking know how to read ancient Egyptian. So I was like, all right. I walk over to the table and I was like, hi, I'm so sorry. Can I get your order? And they're like, well, we already gave it to her. And I was like, yeah, but I'm gonna need your order. And they were like, it took us like 10 minutes to give her our order. And I was like, and I set the paper down and I was like, well, do you know what that is? And they were like, I had three tiger rolls and you had a dragon roll, right? Yeah. And then you had I was like, thank you. Like, what the fuck you want me to do with that shit? Like, I had no clue what it was. I was like, oh my God. But anyways, Jenny's like, I'm gonna take this table's order. And it was like, okay. So like I stood back to listen, cause she gonna fuck it up. I don't have to fix it. And I hear her, and then she's like, "Hi, what we get for you?" And then the Vietnamese mom, I guess, was like, we have a, well, she goes, we have four raspberry iced tea, and she goes, we don't have raspberry iced tea. We have green tea, we have iced tea, and then she's like, we have chilled green tea, and then she was like, we will all have Sprite. And then she's like, okay. And then she like goes to get the drinks. And then she sets them back down. She goes, you ready to order? And then she's like, yes, we have a plate of fried rice. And then Jenny's like, we don't have fried rice. We have steamed rice, white rice only. And then the lady's like, you have very limited selection. And Jenny's like, you order or not, you could go. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the hell happened? And comes to find out, apparently, like, Korean people and Vietnamese people do not get along. I was like, I didn't know, like, it was about to go down. I was like, what the fuck? And Jenny, like, bless her heart, she was the first person to ever, like, really make me understand just quite what racism is like. She one day found out it was my birthday and she was like, oh Ish, it is your birthday. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, how old are you? And I was like, 31. And she's like, oh, you so open surfer. And I was like, what? Like in my head I'm like, let me throw punch this bitch. Like let me just hit her right now. Like knock that bitch right the fuck out. To pour her ass. Like SP 1070 or something. This is Arizona. But like I just looked at her and she's like, oh, she's like, you should be big star. And I was like, oh, okay. So like she ain't totally a bitch. But then she's like, and she comes up to me and she like puts her like little tiny hand like right on my shoulder. She's like, happy birthday. And she like walked off and you could see it on her face. She's like, it wasn't, ew, I touched the white man. She was like, oh, I touched an American. Ew, I touched American. Ew. Like, but at that moment I was like, oh, like, you view me as less than you. Like, not because of like, my performance or anything. You just because like you come from someplace else. Like, that is horrible. What a horrible feeling. And I thank them for that. Like, honestly, like, bless her little, like, evil little, like, multi-godded heart or whatever her totem poles. But, like, that really opened my eyes to just what, like, racism felt like. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna fucking run this place. Like, she'd be yelling at me, and I'd be like, excuse me, I don't have three arms. I left my third arm at home, so you just gonna have to wait a minute. Like, I ain't got time for all that. I'll tell them like no, no, and customers will try to get crazy and be like, I'm not paying for that. And they'd be like, just, and I'm like, oh no, 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 you ate that, you paying for it. I'm sorry, like, you have me confused. I'd be telling customers all the time and be like, oh, it's hotter than Africa up in here. I'm so sorry. And they were like, have you been to Africa? And I'm like, no, bitch, I got Google. Like, I can tell you right now, it's hotter than Africa. Like, I couldn't do it. It was like Africa booty hot up in that place all the time.